Hello all and welcome to episode 49 of the 3 for 1 Sky Fantasy Podcast by Fantasy Football Hub. My name is Fergie and I'm joined by three of the most successful Sky managers in the game. Firstly, Paul McAnulty. How was your Sky weekend, Paul? A bit of a damp squib?
Yeah, not much going on. Probably the same points as everybody else. I think it's a weekend for the differentials.
Indeed. Salah cap yesterday, was it?
Yeah. So did okay yesterday, and then Bruno captain today. I think all the goalkeepers have been kind of similar scoring as well, so not too bad.
He looked on for a mega haul, didn't he, yesterday, Salah, after scoring early. They just couldn't do it, could they? I was looking at his ownership, and because it was only about, I say, he was like 80%, but you know, a few more would have been a nice rise, wouldn't it? But
yeah, I don't know on Trent, so I guess in the grand scheme of things, I wasn't too displeased with position overall.
Fair enough. We also have former Sky winner Dan Cox with us. How was your Sky weekend, Dan?
Yeah, pretty boring, wasn't it? Not a lot to. It's been a pretty rubbish week, to be honest. There haven't been many highlights apart from Leicester on Thursday. It's been a bit of a disaster, mate. All the benchings and the people injured and stuff like that. So just not good, mate. Not been a good week, especially with that start of the week, that Super League and stuff. Just not been good. So yeah, hoping Leicester again can be a bright spark tomorrow night.
I made a rage move on Tuesday when Azpilicueta was benched. I done one of those, those 5 to 8 rage moves. I was absolutely fuming because I think it's because Salah was benched on the Monday, and then another bench. I think it was like my third or fourth benching in 5 days.
And we knew Kane wouldn't play on the Wednesday.
Yeah, exactly, and there was that as well. So I did Azpilicueta to Havertz and crap on the night. But even worse, yesterday, obviously Havertz didn't play and Azpilicueta got I don't know, whatever he got, 9 or 10 points, I'm guessing. But yeah,
I did say
he only got 7.
Oh, did he? He
didn't
get passing or anything.
He was playing right wing. He's playing right wing back.
Oh, okay.
He only got about 30 passes, I think, didn't he? I did the same. I did Rafinha to Havertz because I was just so pissed off with Lacazette getting injured. Then I weren't going to have a captain for Friday. Yes, Leicester. But then Wednesday, I knew didn't think Diaz would play. So I thought I'm going to have I can't remember. I was going to have Vestergaard. Would I captain him? And I just thought the whole week's just a nightmare.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just human, and I thought, you know what? I'll bring in Havertz. He's playing up top. He might get a goal or something and cheer me up. But no, he was useless and didn't play yesterday. So probably keep him into the end of the season now, to be honest. But yeah, that was a waste. That was a last minute sort of one. It was like, go on then.
Worst.
And then you just like 801. Who's thinking shouldn't have bothered with that. That's a transfer wasted. He's useless. Plays for Chelsea.
We also have a very, very special guest, Fixture Maestro Ian Parrin, who has flown up the leaderboard as well. Welcome, Ian. How's it going?
Yeah, very good. Thanks, Andre.
I can see with your 70th position overall on the leaderboard, you've overtaken me and then some, and you've got loads of transfers in hand. So I think I'm conceding this year.
Yeah, listening to Paul and Dan saying they've had bad weeks, I thought I was doing badly myself, but obviously some have done worse. Yeah, so can't complain this week, to be honest.
Yeah, I think, and even earlier when Wolves lost their clean sheet, I still had the hope that Martinez. I still got Martinez to play. Let's get a retro 12-pointer off Martinez this evening, and I'm not sure what he's got in the end. He may have scraped 3 points or something, but no, not a good week or two. Or it's good for those who are who are right at the top and at the top of their mini leagues because nothing's happening. It's so hard to score points in it. But great to have you on, Ian.
Yeah, great to be back. Thank you.
Cool. So everyone, as we are live, please feel free to join the chat at any time. Let us know your thoughts on the topics, on the relevant sections, and feel free to ask some questions for us to answer at the end. Good evening, everybody. Lots of Keenan Davis in the chat. Is this the Green Arrow stream or is this a Sky stream? I'm not sure, but lots of Keenan Davis love. Matt Woolley said, "Happy Keenan Davis Day, Fergie." Luke Shillito was in the chat. Mickey Rooney, Pompey lad, first time I've watched this in ages. Great to have you back on there, Pompey lad. Mark Williams, SPL Badger, Apex Sector, Johnny White, Norman Conquest, all the usuals. Liam Doran, Mark Wright, Dan Wright, everyone on. Great to have you on, everybody. And thank you so much for watching us live when we are competing with the penultimate episode of Line of Duty No one tell us who H is in the chat. It will be the last thing you do, I can assure you. For any new watchers and listeners, if you haven't subscribed to us yet, please press the subscribe button in the bottom right corner of the screen. Set the alerts so you don't miss our live streams at 9 p.m. every Sunday evening right here on this channel. Also, if you could all now, please press the like button. It would be much appreciated. Thank you, Glenn Murray, for pissing on my chips. No save bonus for Martinez. So tonight, Paul will share some stats with us. Dan will share the week's transfers, ins and outs, some ownership and some transfers remaining stats. And then Ian is going to give us a fixture masterclass, and he's going to walk us through the rest of the fixtures for the whole season, obviously including some of his predictions. We'll answer some Twitter questions, give some mini league updates, and we will finish off, as usual, with Dan's rant. Paul, we have some stats on screen. Do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, so I want to keep it brief this week. I know we've got Ian on. Very interested to hear some of his predictions, to see what I could do in my remaining transfers. So there was a lot of talk in the WhatsApp groups this week about Rafinha. I currently hold Rafinha. We know that Dan just moved him on to Havertz. So I was looking particularly at the midfield options. It's been quite a barren area for Sky fantasy managers this season. So what we've got up on screen just now is the last 5 weeks worth of total player points on the top 20 midfielders. So out in front, Jesse Lingard, but he's in 86% of teams, so in the top 1,000. So I guess he's already on everybody's radar. This was before today's game, so Matheus Pereira, who scored the penalty for West Brom tonight, he's sitting second with 38 points over that period of time. Jared Bowen's third. I just don't think that people see the appeal of doubling up on West Ham, especially with some single days coming up that Sky managers might be looking to take advantage of. Pulisic and Mount, again, it's that Chelsea midfield merry-go-round players don't really appeal to me. Someone I was really thinking about, I didn't have a captain because of the whole Lacazette debacle and having transferred DCL out. Someone who I was looking at on Friday night, I wouldn't say I was close to doing a transfer, but I gave it some consideration, was Gylfi Sigurdsson. Since he's come back into Everton side, he takes penalties on set pieces as well. 8.3 I thought was reasonable price, but I just felt that I could use a transfer better elsewhere. I was thinking of the potential Everton single match day coming up. But in reality, if I was going to make a move from Rafinha, I think now I'm weighing up two options, none of which are on this list, and they're both from Leicester. So a couple of weeks back, I had talked about Ndidi. He, on Thursday night, picked up 7 points. So he completed 63 passes, so picked up tier 1 passing, and got 5 successful tackles, so picked up tier 2 tackles. The reason why I like him is because even when Leicester's fixtures turn for the last end of the season, because he's renowned for getting tackle bonus, you've almost got like that starting base of points that's like higher than the traditional 2 points. So he's someone that I'm considering I might make the move tomorrow. And the other one's Tielemans, who completed 8 to 9 passes. He picked up 5 points the other night. He didn't have any shots. He had 2 tackles, so I think tackles is within his reach. But he was on all set pieces, even with Maddison on the park. So if Leicester to make use of the good fixtures that they've got coming up in the single match days, I think Tielemans could benefit as well. So if I was going to make the move from Rafinha, I guess I've got 5 transfers left, and I think I'm on the cusp. If I had any more than that, I would definitely make the Rafinha to a Leicester midfielder move, obviously based on formation as well. I'm presuming most will be on a three-player midfield.
I think with those 2 players as well, with like Ndidi, I think you're absolutely right in terms of when the fixtures turn, he can get points a different way. I think with Tielemans as well, I think if Leicester do go back to play, playing like 5-4-1, with the wingers or whatever else, then you get the attacking threat back of Tielemans as well. So I think like regardless of who they play, if Barnes comes back and the Iheanacho kind of drops out, he plays in a more attacking role there. And also if Vardy, is off the pitch for any reason, he tends to be on pens as well, don't he?
Yeah.
So I think they're both really good shouts.
I was thinking about that as well, because with Leicester, I've got the extra fixtures and I've obviously got the FA Cup final as well, that Vardy's minutes might be managed. I'm not saying that Vardy will be benched, but he might come off earlier in games that's either won or lost at that point. So
I think that Tielemans has scored 2 penalties this season when Vardy has been subbed off the pitch, haven't he? Kind of late on. So yeah, that's a really good shout. Just a couple of shouts quickly in the chat. Hornet, many congratulations on Watford being promoted back to the Premier League. Hopefully we'll be looking at Ismaila Sarr. Dan had Sarr in, didn't you, last year? Dan, was that right? And
yeah, I had him after he scored all his points.
Yeah, I remember that because he was cheap money. But yeah,
do you remember the Gallo season? Like I'm sure it was that season that the Watford defence went on a mad run of clean sheets as well. Was it the season before? I can't remember. There was one season. I remember Luke Williams had a block Watford defence and done really, really well out of it.
When I won, I had Holebas after about the second or third or fourth week or something like that, and he was just great for the assists.
He used to be on corners as well, wasn't he? Yeah.
There was a Sunday single match day against Middlesbrough where he scored and kept a clean sheet, and everybody had him as captain. I remember.
Yeah, so well done, Hornet. Many congratulations, and also quick shout out for Ray Caffrey. First time getting to watch live. How brutal were both the Uniteds today? On the upside, clean sheet for Dallas. Dallas, like Vestergaard over Dallas, I think it's gonna haunt us forever, right? Just we thought the grass was greener. What was it? Hell. So welcome, Ray, and it's great to have you on the chat for the first time. Okay, let's move on. Dan, I've got the ownership slide up first, if that's okay. If you can just run through top owned players.
Yep. So top owned in the top 1,000. Bruno Fernandes, 99%. Jesse Lingard, 86%. Salah, 81.6. Azpilicueta, 67.3. Diaz, 65.8. Iniacho, 56.1. Kane, 51.5. See what's happened, like fair few are sold and a fair few are held on. 50-50. Martinez, 44.1. Rafinha, 39.9. And Trent, 31%. Who'd have thought Iniacho and Lingard, you said at the start of the season, they'll both be, or Jesse Lingard will be the second most owned player. You'd have been like, oh my God, whatever is going to go on this season for that to happen. But he's there.
And 2 big fat blanks this weekend for the 2 most highly owned players in Bruno and Lingard as well there. Next one down, we've got the most transferred in since last week.
So since last Sunday, Iniacho, 8,263. Jamie Vardy, 8,220. Wow. So pretty close there. Wow. Some people probably done both. Mount, 4,480. He got a good amount of points, didn't he? He got a shots bonus and he got some points anyway. Salah, 4,393. And James Maddison, 3,740.
Bebe says, I admire the 10 people without Bruno. Geniuses. I know we were kind of laughing about it the other week, weren't we? Saying, who are these people who don't have Bruno? I think, it's like 1 assist in his last 6 or something like that, or 1 goal.
In the top 100, I had a look at the open, like there's only a few open teams now. And one person in the top 100, it was open captain Patricio earlier on, and I was like, what is going on? And I was like, he only got 1 point less than Bruno.
Yeah, they got away with it, didn't they?
And letting 4 goals.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. And then most transferred out, Dan. Unsurprising, the guy at the top.
Yeah, Harry Kane, 21,592. I knew he was going to play today. They'd have wheeled him to the pitch in a wheelchair, wouldn't they, and got him off. You knew he was going to play today. So yeah, that hopefully that's good for Sheffield United. He'll be back for that.
He's going to be a big captaincy option next weekend, isn't he?
Yeah, so he'll be on the top ends, I should think. Although it's the last game of the day, and that's a bit of a problem. Anyway, I'll get back to this. Stones out of 15,586. De Bruyne out of 7,663. Rafinha out of 3,048. And Lacazette out of 2,498.
Quick question off Liam Dorrian. Is it time to bin Lingard? Ian, what are your thoughts on Lingard?
I'm keeping him. Have you got anybody else you're going to bring in instead?
I think Liam's on a bit of a wind-up there because he hasn't got Lingard. Is that right? I don't think he's got him, is he?
Right. Yeah, I remember something about that on Twitter, actually. Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Their next few fixtures, Burnley, Everton, Brighton, West Brom and Southampton. If anything, Liam, it's time to get Lingard in. He's got his difficult game out the way. He did have a couple of half chances yesterday as well, didn't he? But yeah.
He's played 11 games for them, and I think there's only 2 games that he hasn't returned any sort of anything in. So I'll take that. 9 returns out of 11.
Indeed. That one with Kane is interesting, as you say, because obviously there was a big move to Leicester players. I'm quite surprised that Vardy was as highly brought in as he was, because he hasn't really been on form, but he basically matched Iheanacho for transfers in. So I brought in both, and I captained Vardy last Thursday just to try and chase a little bit.
Same.
Do you think that's a few doing Iheanacho because they wanted to do him, and then they've brought Vardy in either for Lacazette or DCL or Kane?
Yeah,
that's exactly what I did.
Yeah. It's because he's only like 8.4. Like you got all these kind of underperforming players, and people have got a lot of budget as well. You could even move Vestergaard onto him. You've got a couple in the middle of the bank. It's a bit of a no-brainer, really, isn't it? It's just obviously it's just a striker spot. We mentioned this last week. If you've got like Salah, Kane, and Vardy, so maybe people took out Kane for the 3 for 0. I think it was, wasn't it, for like Vardy, and maybe people getting back, him back next week would be a fairly obvious move there. But people have got a lot more transfers left than me. I think I'm down in the doldrums now. I'm in a lot of trouble transfer wise. Okay, so we are now going to move on to some prediction, and Ian has done a lot of prep for this. So firstly, Ian, we've got the graphic up which shows firstly the remaining games for everyone.
So this is just taken off the transfer planner on the Hub website, and it gives you a list of remaining games from tomorrow till the end of the season. And we can see Palace have got the most with 7. Then there's 4 sides with 6, which is Villa, Everton, Leicester and Southampton, and everybody else with 5 remaining fixtures.
Got any kind of interest there, Ian? Obviously, Leicester are kind of highly owned because of the quality of the fixtures, but also the quantity. Anything else in like Villa or Palace or Southampton?
I'm not interested in Palace. Southampton, I think if you've got, you can keep for what we'll see in a bit. Villa, the same. Leicester, I think everybody should have at the minute, but their fixtures tail off at the end of the season. And Chelsea is similar. Their fixtures tail off at the end of the season. And the 2 that I like the look of at the back end are Man City, after they've got their European ties out of the way, and Leeds. So my pre-planned transfers involve a Leicester player going and a Southampton player going, and I'll probably be bringing in somebody from City, I don't know who yet, and somebody from Leeds, which will probably be Dallas.
I tell you who's looked unbelievable. I know it's really obvious, but Foden has just looked absolutely outstanding, haven't he? I don't think I've ever seen a player so young just like dominate a game so much with just how fantastic he is. Obviously, apart from Keenan Davis, but Foden is just every time he gets on the ball, he is absolutely electric, and the way he just drifts away from players, absolutely superb.
Yeah, it's one of the few that you can see at a young age. He's definitely got it.
He's absolutely unreal. Okay, we've got the fixtures now for the next week then. And starting Friday, the 30th, Southampton against Leicester.
So Friday 30th, single game day, Southampton v Leicester. I'm guessing everybody's going to be on their Leicester players of some kind or description.
Hope so.
I don't think it makes any difference if you've got a striker or defender. I think the defenders will get passing and the strikers will probably score.
Fair enough.
And then Saturday, 1st of May, early game is Palace v City. I'm expecting a heavily rotated City side that day. It's in between their Champions League semi-finals.
And they've also just played a really strong side this afternoon, haven't they, as well? Their strongest 11, I would guess, or as close to.
Pretty close to, yeah.
With Stones being suspended, do we think that Diaz is the one that might escape? rotation.
It wouldn't surprise me if he plays Garcia.
Really,
There's really nothing on the game for him, is there?
Yeah,
Okay.
just that. I guess it's that thing about playing two left-footed centre halves that most managers are against.
Yeah, Stones will play in both the Champions League games, you'd think, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Now he's not playing in the league game. So the second game that day is Brighton v Leeds, then Chelsea v Fulham, and we finish off with Everton v Villa.
Ooh.
I think captaincy there for me, it'll probably be Azpilicueta, I think, if he's playing. And I expect he probably will.
Well, you won't know if he's playing, will you? That's the thing.
You won't know if he's playing, no. I mean, if you've got a City player still,
Diaz,
and they are playing, you can stick the arm man on them, but I don't think many will have.
Dan, any thoughts on that Saturday?
Yeah, I was starting to make some notes from the next article, right? So same sort of thing as Azpilicueta. I do think, oh my God, that's sandwiched between two Champions League games, isn't it? But as we know, he was rested for the last game.
Yeah.
So, hopefully not, but you never know. I suppose it depends on how the first leg goes. Honestly, don't know.
I think because you get to see like the City lineup, Diaz is still really, really highly owned, and Diaz, I personally say
if he starts, our captain,
captain.
Yeah. The advantage with Chelsea, they play Tuesday, Saturday, Wednesday, whereas City's like Wednesday, Saturday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then the Sunday games: Newcastle v Arsenal, Manchester United v Liverpool, and Tottenham v Sheffield United. I think most will be expecting Kane to start. If you've sold him, you must have had a plan to get him back in. Nobody's sold him with thinking that's it for the season, surely. You'd have kept him.
Definitely, and obviously because Leicester will have finished their 3-0 on the Friday. Vardy, Iheanacho, maybe even another player if you think. But
well, my plan, I only brought Iheanacho in. I didn't bring Vardy. My plan is to lose Lewis Dunk for Harry Kane on Sunday and go back to 3 up front. And then the 2 Monday games early is the West Midlands derby, West Brom v Wolves, and then the later game is Burnley v West Ham. And I'm guessing with 86% ownership, Lingard's going to be highly captained.
I was panicking then because I didn't think I had a captain. I realised it's Lingard there. I still struggle to associate Lingard with West Ham for some reason.
Bring in Patricio.
Patricio, exactly. Yeah, again. Cool. Okay. So then the following week starts on Friday the 7th.
Then the following week is Friday, Leicester again. Fourth single game down the trot, I think.
I think it is. Yeah, you're right. It will
be. So again, whichever Leicester player you're keeping, if you're selling one of your strikers for Harry Kane the previous Sunday, then you can just go with one of the defenders. I think probably get a clean sheet and a passing bonus there. Then on the Saturday, early game Leeds v Tottenham, then Sheffield United v Palace, Manchester City v Chelsea, and Liverpool v Southampton. So I'm guessing it's either Kane or Salah that day.
Salah, I would personally say. I think Leeds have tightened up at home, haven't they? They've got, I think, their last 3 results. Is it Man City or was that away? No, it was away. They beat Man City, wasn't it? But
they beat Man City 2-1, didn't they? Yeah.
But they held Liverpool and Man United recently. It's like a goal.
Liverpool's 1 each and a 0-0 today against United. I think I'll be on Salah that day as well.
Anything different, Paul, for yourself?
Whoever's top of Dan's captaincy poll on Twitter will be my captain.
Just a quick couple of shouts in the chat. Martin Beasley. So he said this, Ian. After you said that you fancy Man City and Leeds, Liverpool's fixtures look good to me as well. Yeah, I've got to say, Liverpool fixtures until the end of the season look good.
I think Liverpool look good all the way through. I was more thinking those that look good for the first 3. And then dip for the last 3. But yeah, if you're on Liverpool now, I'd stick with them all the way through.
So there's a really good hop on spot as well. So after Liverpool play so I don't have Trent. Liverpool play Man United away next week, and then the following week is the week that you're going through just now, Ian. Leicester against Newcastle on the Friday night. So that's the last of Leicester's strong fixtures. So it'd be easy to, if you've got the budget, it'd be a good point to perhaps move off Soyuncu or a Leicester asset onto Trent following.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Matt Woolley also just asks, DCL maybe for captain on Saturday, the 1st of May for those that hold him. So that was the game with Palace, Man City, Brighton, Leeds, Chelsea, Fulham, Everton and Villa. So if you still hold Calvert-Lewin, home to Villa. Villa, I don't think they've kept a clean sheet now in 6, I'm sure I saw earlier. So
I think they've got the suitcase packed, Villa, haven't they?
Yes, that may be a decent shout there. Okay, on to Sunday the 9th.
So Sunday, 9th of May, early games, Wolves v Brighton, then Villa v Man United, West Ham v Everton, and then Arsenal v West Brom. Bruno or Lingard, probably. For me, on current form, unless I'm seeing something totally different, I'll probably go with Lingard that day.
I think so. Dan, any different?
No, agree with what Ian's just said there, mate. Probably Lingard for me.
Okay, and Monday the 10th. This is the awkward one.
Monday the 10th, yeah, Fulham v Burnley. I think this is a skip unless you're transfer heavy.
Yeah, Patricio or Pope for me, I think.
What about Chris Wood? He's worth a transfer in.
Yeah, who are you going to lose though?
That's a good shout. Obviously, yeah, it's a striker pot. There'll be
striker spot.
Salah, Iheanacho, Kane, wherever else on there. So
Leicester's 3 after that are Man United, Chelsea, and Spurs.
Yeah, who do Burnley play? They've got Liverpool penultimate game.
Actually, Leeds and Sheffield United. It's not bad, actually. It's not a bad finish to the season.
Leeds at home, Liverpool at home, and Sheffield United away. Yeah,
just write that down.
Yes,
hope.
He's looked good. He's looked good. I just suppose, and I know he scored a hat-trick and he has looked good, but is it just that whole reactionary thing, right? He's obviously not going to score a hat-trick every week. I think it's the first time that a Burnley player has scored a hat-trick or had. It might have been a rating.
It's Chris Wood's. It's Chris Wood's first hat-trick since he scored a hat-trick for Leicester in 2013 away to Bristol City in a 4-0 win.
Wow, good stat there. So yeah, it's obviously that.
If somebody forced you to pick a captain for that day, would you go for Wood or for Pope?
Pope for me, based on what my plans are there. And Patricio's games aren't particularly great afterwards either.
Pope loves a single game day as well, doesn't he?
That's a good shout. If you're
could be the one. I've got a transfer plan for a keeper, and it could be that it's Pope. The other one it could be Pickford.
I always think as well that Burnley are always safe, and they're the one team that don't seem to pack their bags early. Like they seem to still go on a semi-decent run at the end of the season. Maybe
they don't want to be on the back end of Dyche's telling off on Monday morning, do they?
I say I've not got the stats to back it up, but I do have the memories of not having Pope for the single game days at the end of last season. So
that was definitely one to bear in mind there, I think, Pope.
Okay, and then we move on to your predictions.
Right,
here.
So now we come on to the tricky part, which is the projections. So if we look at the midweek of 11th, 12th, 13th of May, that was supposed to be a full round of fixtures. But I think they're all going to be shifted. And the main caveat behind that is that the games will be moved to allow each team to have fans for their final home game of the season.
Right.
And I've not seen anything yet that makes me think that isn't going to happen. One of the things that has made me think it's more likely is the scheduling of that Fulham v Burnley game on the Monday. Because if they wanted to have the schedule of all of the midweek games that week, you wouldn't have put Fulham v Burnley on that Monday night. So then we come to think, so which games are going to be played in that midweek? So there's 2 remaining outstanding games that are still to be scheduled, which are Southampton v Crystal Palace and Aston Villa v Everton. And then the following weekend is FA Cup final weekend. So which means that Leicester and Chelsea can't have league fixtures in the same time as they're playing the FA Cup final. So that makes me think that Chelsea v Arsenal and Manchester United v Leicester are going to be brought forward to the midweek. And because Arsenal and Man United both play on Sunday the 9th of May. And the FA Cup final is on Saturday the 22nd of May. Then Chelsea v Arsenal and Man United v Leicester has to be on Wednesday the 12th.
Ian, you give me shivers down my spine. How do you?
Why?
Just how you work it out. It's just absolutely amazing. I absolutely love it.
That bit's reasonably straightforward.
Oh, God. Okay.
So then we look at the two fixtures that are going to get scheduled into that midweek, because it's the only midweek that's going to be left.
Yeah.
And then we see we've got the Southampton v Palace and the Aston Villa v Everton. Now, Aston Villa v Everton can't go on the Tuesday because Aston Villa play on the previous Sunday. So that's going to go into Thursday, May the 13th, which by default then means that Southampton v Palace is going to be on Tuesday, the 11th of May.
So hold on to Vestergaard.
Well, if you've still got him, you might as well keep him for that and then move him on, maybe. I've still got James Ward-Prowse.
Nice.
And he'll be staying until then, and then he'll be one that's probably moving on.
Okay. And then the Thursday, the 13th.
That's where your Martinez is, and your DCLs are still coming in handy, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Okay, moving on then.
So then we move on to FA Cup final weekend. Now this is very dependent on how many matches they want to actually schedule on the Saturday alongside the FA Cup final. And I think there'll either be 2 or 3. I think there'll definitely be one at 12:30. The FA Cup finals at 5:30. And I think they'll either have one at 3 o'clock or more likely at 8:15.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, it's normally the later when they normally leave the day open, don't they?
Yeah. And that means there'll either be 1 or 2 Friday night football games. And there'll be 4 games played on the Sunday. And I don't think there'll be a Monday night game that week for 2 reasons. Firstly, the Championship playoffs are both set for that evening. And secondly, as there's a full midweek programme likely to follow it, it makes scheduling easier if you don't have a Monday game in the middle.
Okay.
So then we look at the teams that can or cannot play on certain days that weekend. Now, there's a lot of supposition here, but Crystal Palace v Aston Villa and Everton v Sheffield United would have to be on the Sunday based on Villa v Everton the previous Thursday. So that then leaves 6 games still to be scheduled, which are Brighton v West Ham, Burnley v Leeds, Southampton v Fulham, West Brom v Liverpool, Newcastle v Man City, and Tottenham v Wolves. Now, based on nothing more than Sky and BT liking to schedule the bigger teams on the weekend, then I've plumped for Brighton v West Ham and Burnley v Leeds to be on the Friday if there's 2 Friday games. If there's only one, it could be either of those. Then on the Saturday, I've gone for Southampton v Fulham and West Brom v Liverpool. And then on the Sunday, Newcastle v Man City and Tottenham v Wolves. Again, that's based on nothing more than the fact that I think that those teams are likely to be a weekend game. And it also makes the following midweek easier to schedule for who's playing who. So you flick onto the next slide, Andrew.
Yep.
So we then see that we've got a midweek round there, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 18th, 19th of May. And the key teams and games are likely to be put on different nights. And at the minute, this looks like Man United v Fulham and Brighton v Man City for both the title and or relegation, and Chelsea v Leicester for top 4. So based on the days that I've projected from the previous weekend, I think we might see something like Burnley v Liverpool, Man United v Fulham, Southampton v Leeds, and West Brom v West Ham on Tuesday, because their games are all on Friday or Saturday the previous weekend. And then something like Wednesday, Brighton v Man City, Palace v Arsenal, Newcastle v Sheffield United. And when Thursday, Chelsea v Leicester, Everton v Wolves, and Tottenham v Aston Villa. Now, I've read also that clubs are concerned about the early kickoff times when the fans come back, because a lot of the stewards have got regular day jobs. So we might have like one 6 o'clock kickoff, other games at 7:30, and then 8:15 on the evenings.
Wow.
So the days might not be correct there, but the rationale behind the workings out aren't going to change.
Just as well that you saved all your transfers, Fergie.
Well, I'm gonna have to email Sky and see if they'll give me a bit of a top up. I'm gonna have to, yes. Well, yeah. This is why you all hold them back, right? This is why all you lot hold the advantage over me. Let me just work this out then very, very quickly about the number of consecutive days of football we think we're going to have. So we've got a gap between Monday the 3rd and Friday the 7th, which is obviously the Champions League and the Europa League second legs. We then got games on the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th. We do get a day's break on Monday the 17th.
1 day gap.
And then we have the 18th, 19th and 20th before we have obviously a few days gap then to the final day of the season on Sunday 23rd. And and obviously not forgetting just from a team selection sort of view that the Europa League final will be the following Wednesday, I think
it's the following Wednesday,
and the Champions League is the following Saturday. So it's just
so if Arsenal and or Man United reach the Europa League final, I would expect some heavy rotation for those teams.
Yeah.
Because Man United are likely to be second.
Yeah.
The only thing that might change that if Leicester haven't guaranteed it's not Leicester that United are playing, it's Wolves. Sorry, I was thinking more Tottenham there. So Man United and Arsenal could have heavily rotated teams if they reach the Europa League final.
Len says, look at all them days I can captain Vestergaard. Can't wait. And Sussex Martler says, I'm not taking Salah or Kane out on the off chance Wood may return again. I think that is quite good advice.
I think that's good advice.
That's good advice. It's very easy to get sucked into it, innit? But yeah, absolute superb stuff there, Ian. Wow. Planned it out to the rest of the season. Absolutely fine. Have you got the fixtures yet for the first day of next season, or?
No, but there'll probably be a Friday night game to kick it off.
What a letdown. That'll be on Friday the 13th of August, that will, because it's supposed to start on Saturday the 14th, I think, isn't it? We've had that.
That'll be Norwich Man City.
Had that confirmed at least. Yeah, that's right. Well, the year before last was Norwich and Liverpool, wasn't it?
Liverpool Norwich
on the Friday night, and I triple captain Salah in FPL, and he scored. Was it a goal and 2 assists, or 2 goals, or something like that in the first half an hour, and then they stopped then, didn't they? So for all our watchers now on YouTube, if you are listening on a podcast, we always say it's probably better to watch this on YouTube. We now have a consolidated view of this, off Ian's fantastic planner on Fantasy Football Hub, which shows all the confirmed fixtures, but also all Ian's projected ones, which you can obviously make a plan against. Absolutely superb, Ian. Anything to add or finish off with there?
No, but like I said earlier, I think if that does ring true, you can get rid of your Chelsea and Leicester after that rescheduled midweek, because they won't play the following weekend. So anybody else you bring in that isn't Arsenal, Man United, Leicester or Chelsea will have an additional game at least.
Superb.
And when we get the confirmed days, you might be able to work out a plan where you get an extra game day in as well.
Brilliant.
I'm hopeful that's going to happen this week, but with the projected blackout of social media coming up from Friday to Monday, it might be after next weekend.
Okay, absolutely superb, Ian. Thank you so much. That was that's absolutely incredible. I just wish I had the transfers left to take advantage of it all, but it looks pretty for me. But all you guys have all got all your transfers left. I'm sure there's loads in the chat who've obviously got lots of transfers left. They'd manage it better than I. They didn't have a strop last Tuesday and bring in Havertz for Aspilicueta, but anyway, superb there, Ian. Thank you so much for that. Dan, does anything kind of jump out at you there, or are you going to have to take a few days to digest everything?
No, it's always like Ian is pretty. I think he's got 100% record for predicting all this. So
far off, is it?
No,
I think these definitely won't be 100%. There's a lot more guesswork in this than the previous stuff.
It does just make you think though, because we knew like that like you said, that Southampton, Palace, and the Villa Everton game had to go in somewhere. So when I was I know Vestergaard's been absolute useless, but half of me did think, should I just keep him because I know they're going to have a single game day, but I just couldn't be dealing with it. Do you know what I mean? But that was one thing that, just have a look through these will just make you think there when you think, oh yeah, well, I'll take out him, and it's like, well, actually, no, you might need him. And I just look for all these days, and even for me looking at them thinking, oh, like that Wednesday the 19th of May, if it is that what is here, I've only got Diaz playing, and if he doesn't play, I won't have anyone. So it's like, oh, do you know what I mean? Do I bring in someone from Palace? Do you know what I mean? Who will cover me on the where is it? Sorry, on the 11th of May or something as well. Do you know what I mean? So, God, we'll bring in a Palace player again. Didn't go well at the start of the season, so who knows?
Yeah, a word of caution. I think those that want to take advantage, wait until next week until we've got confirmed days.
Yeah.
I don't think there's nothing really pressing between now and then, is there? No. You should have somebody for at least your bigger sides on the captaincy days between now and sort of bank holiday, and then make your plans for afterwards when we got confirmed dates in.
Yeah.
Anything for you there, Paul? Jump out?
Oh, I think that was really well covered and shows the importance again of holding transfers back so you can make the most of these single captaincy days at the end of the season.
Do you think Ian and Paul have got more transfers than myself and Dan? Do you feel that with the transfers you've got left now that you can pretty successfully navigate until the end of the season?
My current plan gives me one freebie.
Nice. How about you, Paul?
Well, yeah, my current it's similar to Ian in that I've got one space for to free up a transfer, but like I'd mentioned this before on the pod that I think that when injuries occur at the end of the season, it's easier for clubs to roll the player out for the rest of the season and not try and rush them back for 1 or 2 games, and therefore more injuries will come up and more plans will go astray from what people think. I'm sitting with 5 just now, and I feel uncomfortable with 5. So,
and how about you, Dan? Apologies, Ian. Go on.
Sorry. Yeah, I was chatting with somebody in the WhatsApp group saying about they wanted to bring Alexander-Arnold in this weekend, and I've got a similar plan to bring him in, but I didn't want to bring him in this weekend in case something else came up in the interim period.
Yeah.
Makes sense. How about you, Dan?
Well, it's going to be naughty for me, mate. So
it's going to be naughty.
If they come out as Ian's planned them, I think I'm looking at a good. I think I've been a bit lucky, but I'll probably go a couple of days without a captain. So and that's like as Paul said, if there's any injuries that come in, someone's last season when was it Soyuncu last season got the red card against Bournemouth, didn't it? And it's like, oh, now I've got no transfers left, and I've lost a sort of a 5-10 pointer guy a game. Do you know what I mean? So it's going to be tight. I hope they go as Ian's planned them, and even then, I'm still looking at no one for that Palace Villa game. So, the Saints game. Sorry.
And injuries wise, I just look, just for example, now I'm looking at one of the teams. Look at Brighton, right? So their last 3 games, Ian has predicted them to be on May the 14th. The 19th and the 23rd. That's only a gap of 9 days. So if someone gets any kind of injury, even a small injury, it could rule them out for the final 3 games of the season. Yeah. So I think that that's obviously.
I think everybody apart from those that play in the midweek before the cup final, they're all going to have 3 games in that last 8 days, 9 days.
Yeah.
Just exactly. Of how they're going to put the rounds.
A really minor knock. Could have a massive impact on our teams,
especially if the team's got nothing to play for.
What I'd say as well is people that if you're behind in your mini league by 50 or 60 points, you don't need to gamble on it. There's multiple ways to skin the cat in this game, and you could make a gamble on a captaincy at this stage, knowing that when Leicester play, Iheanacho's probably going to be the most captain's player. You could make the move now, but by holding a transfer back at this stage for that 3 games at the end where you might get 1 captaincy day out of someone as well, is definitely another viable solution in terms of trying to claw a mini league back.
Superb. Ian, we've had some in the chat. Luke Shilito says, unreal work, Ian. Thanks a lot. Mark Williamson, amazing stuff, Ian. Matt Woolley says, great insight from Ian. Thank you. And Sussex Mart also says, thank you, Ian. All your work is absolutely
thanks, guys.
massively appreciated. Okay, so we had a load of questions. Mark Wright's first question is all around rearranged fixtures of Everton, Villa and Southampton Palace. So we've answered that one for you, Mark. So obviously just have a listen back or have a look back on the YouTube and it will all be there. Luke Ndien asks, who are you hoping joins Norwich and Watford in promotion? And who's going to win the playoffs? I'm hoping for Swansea. I quite like a few of their players. Any thoughts, guys, on who's going to win the playoffs?
I want Brentford to win it, considering not just because they've not been in the Premier League before.
Yeah.
And I really like their stat-based business model as well, and the sort of Moneyball type business that they run.
Yeah, I'd like Brentford as well. Same reasons.
Is it Tony? Is he the striker?
Ivan Tony, they signed him from the Posh, signed him last season, to replace Watkins.
Yep.
Glenroy asks, with transfers running low for most, will Man City players become a differentiation in the final 5 or 6 games? Probably a good shout there. Yeah, it is worth saying that between the semi-final second leg and the potential final, is 3 games in that period, I think, or maybe even 4 games that they have left to kind of play in there. Ian, you kind of have touched on Man City there.
Yeah, I think Man City after the Chelsea game, which is May the 8th.
Yeah.
So they'll be playing Newcastle away, Brighton away, and Everton at home, all before the Champions League final.
And obviously out of the FA Cup as well, aren't they? So there's no further distraction there. Dan, if you were to ask you now, name who are the 3 Man City players you would go with now if you had a free reign, who would you pick?
Oh, mate, I wouldn't want to bring any of them in, to be honest, because I just think they're going all out for the Champions League, aren't they? So
it's not your not for you.
No, I've only got Diaz left, and it's so hard, mate. I honestly don't know. Will Aguero get a bit of a game time before he's off and score a hat-trick on the last day of the season? Or I just don't know. If you can see the lineups, then would be tempted on the last day. Well, on the last day you do, but I'd be tempted with an Aguero on the last day or something. But
it's not a bad show.
I think they're just, they've got the FA. No, not the FA Cup. They're out of that, aren't they? But I just think the Champions League they're just going to go for now. So no, not for me. And going to the teams to come up, right? I don't want Swansea to come up.
Any love, Paul, for Man City?
Not for me. I think players like Ferran Torres will play a lot till the end of the season in the league because try to bed him in. He's obviously a top quality player, and he's just not had the breaks at City this season. So yeah, I think there will be a lot of rotation.
I'd be tempted to have a punt on Foden, as I said. I think they're going to want to keep him fresh as well, and they haven't got any other games in that period, so they're going to want to keep the momentum, and keep them playing. Sorry, by fresh, I didn't mean rest them. I mean keep them. Keep them.
Yeah, slightly different this season as well, isn't it? Because when Liverpool won the Champions League against Tottenham, they finished. Then there was the FA Cup the weekend after. Yeah. Then there was a week's break, and then it was the Champions League final. So they didn't play for 3 weeks. Whereas this season, the week after the final game of our Premier League season, the Champions League's on that Saturday night.
Yeah. Dan Wright says Aguero will be man of the match last day of the season. I think I said that last year about David Silva, and he was bloody awful. And De Bruyne hit a couple of goals, didn't he? And won Liam the money. Glenn also says a really good point. You get to see most of the Man City lineups, which is a really good point as well there. So I say Foden. Paul and Dan are not that interested. For reasons unknown, I have a transfer booked to replace Stowe, the Leicester defender, tomorrow. Which one do you recommend for the rest of the season? I think you can take your pick, really. Ian, if you were to pick a defender from Leicester.
If I was picking one, it'd be Soyuncu. If I needed the money, it'd be Fofana. I would say, why didn't you move it last week, though?
Yep, fair point. Tom Hartnell, Chris Wood for that Burnley single. So we sort of answered that. It's the striker spot, I think, is the problem in it. So if you have got a free striker spot, Leicester have played all their single days, I think we said, until then. I don't think it's for me. I think it's all right, he's on form, but we've got to remember it is Burnley. But if anyone fancies it.
Did you listen to Disable and Joe?
No,
he
mentioned him, didn't he? Was that right?
Yeah, he said Chris Wood.
Wow.
But then it was the same sort of situation. Who are you gonna take out? Can't take out Iniacho or Vard, with their run and Kane and Salah, and unless you were and he just didn't have the transfers and didn't do it, but he called it. And I just think that's too late now. Like, he's been scoring goals. He's got a hat trick. He's in, what was he in, one team, just say, Paul?
Yeah. One team in the top 1K, yeah.
He's not a danger that you ain't got him. He's, you're going to be falling down the leaderboard. So I think it's been and gone. Like, you had your chance sort of thing. So could be wrong, but that's what I think.
We've had a couple of questions from FPL Baby. Firstly, is it worth taking out Kane for Iheanacho with 4 transfers left, given his form? Again, I think probably should have done that last week, I would say.
Yeah.
Would you do it now still, Ian? But Kane's got Sheffield United, haven't he, next Sunday?
If I was going to captain him on tomorrow and Friday, yes, I probably would.
Okay. And he also says, Bruno's been very poor in today's game. His points have dried up. I feel if Rafinha or Grealish or Barnes, Neto, KDB or anyone's available, it would at least make people think. Tell us how useless and poor he has been, but that we need him. Has anyone got any plans to get rid of Bruno? I suppose that's an interesting question there, because they have got some quite difficult fixtures coming up. Their next 3, they've got Liverpool, Villa away, and Leicester. They do finish with Fulham and Wolves. Has anyone got any plans to get rid of Bruno?
I showed you that chart that I had at the start was the midfielder points over the last 5 weeks, and I found it quite uninspiring, I would say.
Yeah.
Looking at there, Bruno's going to play every game, maybe one rest, and if they reach the Europa League final, then you could see maybe I'm getting rested. I just don't see that many attractive midfield options to replace him with.
That's the problem. We need a new formation, don't we? We need either 4-2-4 or a 5-2-3 to be allowed.
Hornet, Watford block defence pre-overhaul if the fixtures land nicely. Indeed, we're going to congratulate you again there, Hornet. Many congratulations. He has been quiet this season, the chat. Last year he was in every week, wasn't he? Because if Watford be in the Championship, it's great to have you back on, Hornet. Really pleased for you.
There was the season that Huddersfield were in the Premier League. Was that 2 years ago? 3 years ago. They stayed up, didn't they? So it was their first season, and I remember them, and I think it was Watford kept clean sheets in like 2 or 3 of the 4 games pre-overhaul as well. The first year of the overhaul.
That's right.
It was the one with who was that?
It was Cathcart. It was Cathcart played for them, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had Gomez in goals, wasn't it?
Yeah. Or was it Ben Foster? Can't remember.
Let's go anyway. It don't matter. Editor, if you had more than the average number of transfers, would you take Bruno out? So again, just talking on Bruno. Ian and Dan, have you got any inkling at all? Take out Bruno, or are you best to use them elsewhere?
If I had more than average transfers and I needed some kind of a spike in rankings, it might be a punt worth taking.
Those transfer numbers are going to be smashed this week, though. We say it quite a lot, like, this was a good top 1 point. But when you seen the Leicester, we did the FF stuff screenshot the day before of all the Leicester overall percentages, and then the following day, and it was crazy. Like you said, like Vardy, like the amount Vardy jumped up. Yeah. Like those average transfers is going to take a hell of a beating this week.
He was something like 4.8, wasn't he? Then he was like 54.8 the next day.
And Vardy was 1.2, and he went up to like 30 or something like that as well.
The average transfers, I had them from before that Leicester days. Like the top 10 was 5.5, the top 100 was 4.5. But yeah, like I think people made 2 and 3 transfers. So
and a lot of people, it wasn't just like a Twitter bubble or community or anything like that. Like the percentages overall, like you see the top 1,000 percentages, they all took a hit. Imagine they're going to be right down.
Well, that's what I was complaining about to anybody that was listening when the April fixtures came out. They were just too easy.
Yeah.
I wanted them to be really difficult to make it easier for those who've got transfers left.
Right. Yeah. FPL Foxy asks around, it's pretty expendable as well. I think we've answered that now. But he also asks for a birthday shout out. So happy birthday, FPL Foxy at Foxy FPL. Hope you've had a wonderful day today. Hope you're not a Spurs fan, but hope you've had a good day today. And Alex Turner, last one. In Ian's opinion, of what he has seen of the fixtures, what would be his 2 teams to watch out for? That's a good question there, Ian. I know you mentioned Man City Leeds towards the end, but who are the 2 teams who get you excited?
Yeah, current first 3 fixtures, Leicester and Chelsea. Last 3 fixtures, Leeds and Man City.
Okay, cool. And who are have you got any players in your mind? I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but have you got any players, maybe a couple of players who you've had in your mind, who are maybe kind of low owned or we haven't mentioned yet at all?
I did have a sneaky feeling that I might go for Pickford in goal.
Okay.
If that game transpires to be on the Thursday. And the other one, I don't know how highly owned he is still. Dallas, I'm looking at for the last 3 games.
Superb. Fantastic. Okay. Dave Perrin says, long-time listener, first time tuning in live. Welcome, Dave. Cheers for all podding guys from Simple Goal. Well done, Simple Goal. I think Simple Goal is involved in Fantasy Champ Man, I believe. Yeah. So great to have you on, Dave, and many, many thanks for joining us live. Tala just says there's so few appealing options in midfield. Yeah, it seems to have gone pretty static, haven't it? And we did have a lot of comments and questions. Well, actually, we're not going to talk about it this evening. 1, because of time, but 2, we will talk about at the end of the season. But there was a lot of chat around the game going quite stagnant, I suppose. I think there are a few reasons for that. The second overhaul, there's very, very kind of similar teams. Obviously now all the content that's out there, right? So you've got ourselves, you've got Luke and Joe, you've got Planet FPL, James and Serge all putting out really, really high quality content. I think that Luke and Niall won it. Put out a pod as well in the overhaul as well. So there's so much content going now that and these all get thousands and thousands of views and listens. That everyone has reasonably kind of similar ideas. That's probably one of the reasons. I would say obviously Dan's article as well. Obviously great. Gives amazing insight as well. I do think as well this year the kind of budget options. People like Dallas we've mentioned. People like Martinez. And these players as well kind of haven't helped in that you can basically afford anyone as well. And there were some questions about changes we'd make to the game. I think we did talk about that, didn't we, a few weeks ago, or maybe we'll have a chat of that at the end of the season as well. Okay, so we will just look at the Hub £500 leagues. I know that Paul is mad to get away to watch the latest episodes of Line of Duty in 10th place. David Rowe, who was flying early in the season, fell back down a bit, but he moved up 12 places yesterday, from 22nd up to 10th. So Dave must have had a hell of a day yesterday. Many congratulations, Dave. Back in the top 10. Sean King in 9th, Peter Brown in 8th, Daniel Mitchard in 7th, Ryan West in 6th, Mark Burgess 5th, Oliver Colgan in 4th, Tala Nadeem, who is with us this evening, in 3rd, Kerry Vintis in 2nd, and Daniel Wright, who I believe is also with us this evening, moves up to joint top with Kerry. And I believe that they're around 7th or 8th overall. So many, many congratulations and well played. Everyone is in there. Just to say that Tim Barry has just said that Pereira got man of the match this evening in the Aston Villa and West Brom game. Quick question from Billy Anderson. Should we keep Vestergaard with teary face emoji? Dan, what do you think about Vestergaard quickly before we move on?
I got rid of him because, do you know, if I don't even, someone did put in our WhatsApp chat, because someone said I'd hate to see the difference between Dallas and Vestergaard, and they put the points. I don't even want to think about it. I reckon I'd probably be top 20 if I'd have gone for Dallas instead of Vestergaard at the overhaul. Had him all season and get Vestergaard. I tell you what, man, if he gets a clean sheet and passing bonus on that single game day, I ain't coming on for the rest of the season.
It is against Palace. It is against Palace as well.
Oh no, I'm going to be smashing the place up. I'm going to be so annoyed.
Brilliant. And then we come to the Four Nations League. Ian, we're going to have to get you in this next year, obviously. Apologies for that. I think it was because it was the actual Four Nations.
If he finishes above Dan, he gets Dan's place.
Yeah, that's right.
Chances.
This is a Super League, mate. It's closed.
I wouldn't say it's that super because I'm in there, but I'm currently 5th on 3042. Paul's first team was his second, now his first, and vice versa. Is in 4th with 3079. Liam 3099 representing Ireland, and then Paul's other team 3114 representing Scotland and just 10 points ahead. Pookie Party, you change your name, Dan. Pookie Party after Norwich's promotion. 3124, just 10 points ahead, representing England. Though Paul,
10 points ahead of Paul. Oh dear, oh dear.
Paul's got a couple of transfers in hand.
And I've got your favourite tomorrow night as well, Dan.
You got Vardy.
Whoosh, could be an interesting one next time we have the podcast. Okay, finally, Dan, what's upset you this week?
Mate, well, do you know what's annoyed me this week? So I was fuming, right? I woke up like Monday, right? And I was just, I was sick, mate, of this Super League thing, right? Like, what is going on? Like, what? I was just raging. Weren't you just raging all day, Monday and Tuesday?
100%.
I was like, what the hell is going on? I wasn't even interested in, like, Liverpool game on the Monday or whenever it was against Leeds. I just thought, I'm just sick of this. Like, what is going on? Just couldn't believe it. And then, like, all these owners of clubs and stuff, like, needs to be how it is in Germany. I'm not quite up how it is, but I keep hearing it should be how it is in Germany, 50+1 or whatever. They shouldn't be like the Glazers taking $2 billion out of Manchester United or whatever. Like, just ain't right, is it? Do you know what I mean? Like, you got to keep I'm listening to Simon Jordan as well. He does talk. He's a bit annoying, but he does talk some sense, right? But good, yeah. Football clubs need to be like, like listed buildings and stuff. They need to be protected, don't they? Like, so you can't just, you're going to take them out of here and bug them. No, you're not. Like, just get out. Do you know what I mean? Just all these. You hear about the guy at Arsenal, don't you? He just, he's making money and he's happy for him to just sit in the Premier League and stuff like that. It's just, just ridiculous, isn't it? I just don't know. I don't know what the solution is, but like, no money should be coming out of the clubs, should they? You're just a custodian, aren't you, of that club, keeping it running, and I don't know that. And the whole way, that's all just mad, isn't it? I think I thought there was going to be a bit of a reset when all this Corona happened, and but the players' wages are just too mad, aren't they? And I don't know. It goes too far, doesn't it? Everything needs to come down a bit and just. Don't know. You just can't have them just taking all the money out of the clubs and think they can do what they want. And I think I was watching the Chelsea fans, not really a fan of Chelsea, but when you see all them on the L Kings Road and all that kicking off, and Czech was out there like, chill out and stuff, and it's like, yes, get in there, like this ain't happening. And then it's like, Chelsea have proved themselves, and they've now put in a statement to try to get withdrawn from the league. And it's like, yes, like you mugs, you don't try and do stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So, and I'm punishable. Won't really affect Arsenal if you give them a 5 years Champions League ban, but I'd give, I was hoping UEFA, I think would have been like, nah, Man City, Chelsea out of the Champions League you go then, see you later. And I was hoping that the Premier League would have said, yeah, all right then, off you pop, and we'll put up another 6 teams from the Championship, or they can play off with the 3 that are going down. And that just annoyed me, the Super League
thing. It's a tough one because, with like a punishment, because any punishment, obviously, it affected the owners, which is who they tried to punish. But any points docked, any Champions League ban, anything like that would affect the players, and it would massively affect the fans as well. And this is the problem then, isn't it? But anyway, let's get off that because we could talk about that all night, I'm sure. Yeah, the only thing I would say is we very, very briefly touched on it right at the end of last week's pod, didn't we? And I think at that point, I think all 3 of us were still kind of on the thing of, it may or may not happen. Even if it does, But about an hour after we finished the podcast, it all came to light. It was really quite, it was mind-numbing. I agree with you, Dan, on Monday. And then obviously being a Spurs fan on Monday morning, we're still trying to, take it in and understand it. And then Jose gets sacked at like 10 in the morning. Oh, yeah. It's like, oh my goodness, it was absolutely, what a crazy 24, 48 hours it was.
Just slip that in there while everything's in chaos so no one will really notice. Mad, isn't it? So that annoyed me. And everything, like I said, Salah getting benched, Azpilicueta being benched, Kane being injured, and no one then on Friday and stuff. It's just such a rubbish week. Do you know what I mean? I see Jazzy on Twitter. She'd put like basically everything she'd done for 2 weeks has been a complete disaster. And I'm not used to having it a disaster. You're used to missing one captain here and there, but it's like we were looking at all week like, I've got no on Friday, no. And just like, bloody hell, like you don't want to be missing days at this stage of the season, do you? So that annoyed me. My neighbour's annoyed me, right? I ain't had a word from him yet. On a recycling bin day, right? He puts the bin out, like, and the lid's not closed, right? Well, all his crap falls out of my drive, so I need to go and have a word, like, get in there and stamp it down, because all your milk bottles and like cardboard and stuff's blowing all over my drive. Really annoying me, right? The other neighbour's annoyed me because he's not cut the ivy, so it's all growing through my fence. So that's annoyed me. Yes, I've been annoyed this week. But then Brian up, I see that they are deep frying a Colin the Caterpillar.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. Oh, we should have stuck there.
I was expecting it to be Picanti's, the chippy that do the Christmas. No, that's everywhere, mate. Oh. It's the Christmas puddings, the battered and deep fried Christmas puddings.
Because that's been kicking off with Colin the Caterpillar, hasn't it? Like, I mean, they're trying to sue Aldi and stuff. Everyone does a Colin the Caterpillar. You just call it like Cuthbert the thing, and don't know. They're all just random. And that's the bad, right? Here comes the good, right? I just want to say thanks to Billy who listens for sending me all the Panini stickers for my son's book. So cheers for that. And Glenn Roy, he's accepted defeat, or he's conceded that I'm going to beat him this season. So he's sending me a bottle of Buckfast, which we're going to drink on the last show of the season. So there's the good stuff.
Lovely job. We've got a couple of mini rants. First one, I don't know if you watched the final earlier, Spurs and Man City, but Sky stuck up a graphic showing Pep's managerial record against Ryan Mason. Like, of all the things you could ever do, it showed like 594 games, like 400 wins, 24 major trophies. And Ryan Mason's was like managed 2, wins 1, trophies 0. It's like, how harsh can you be? There was just no need.
No need, is there?
No
savage.
Need. It was savage. And the second thing, I don't know about you guys, but when I sleep, right, I've got to have darkness and I've got to have silence. Now, I know this is not for everyone, right, but it's always been a thing for me. Well, recently, I live like up the valleys on the side of a mountain, right, and over on the other mountain, someone has put up like a floodlight, and I have no idea why, but it literally shines in our window even when the thing is shut, and it's that bright. It's probably about a mile away. It's that bright. It shines through our window, right? So that's been annoying me for weeks now. It's not massively bright, but you can see the outline of the window.
What is it?
It's like a massive floodlight. I don't even know.
Have you been to investigate?
I haven't been to investigate. I'm
just go investigate. Take half a brick, mate. That'll sort it out.
Oh, I'm one of those mates. You know, if you have like a crappy meal in a restaurant, I'm eating it, I go into my wife, I'm like, this is bloody rubbish. I can't believe it. Steak's overdone. And you know, when the waiter walks over, oh, how is it? I'm like, oh, absolutely bang on, absolutely perfect. Thank you so much. I'm that sort of person. So I haven't been over there yet. But listen to what we did last week. So we put a new light on the front of our house. You know those lights which it comes on and off when people are approaching your front garden, wherever else. We put it next to our front door, and it was wired in, but we can't switch the bloody thing off, right? So it's always on, but not always always on. It's got one of those things so it shoots light up and down. It only shoots the light up towards our bedroom window. So I've got the floodlight coming in from like a mile away, and I've got this extra light coming up. So every night when I go to bed, I'm just fuming. I'm just like, what have I? And we can't switch it off. The only way to switch it off is to turn the whole bloody electric off. So
I know. I'll get you for Secret Santa. Get you one of them eye masks.
Yeah, I do. I need one of that. I've had absolute nightmare with it. Look at the state of my eyes. Absolutely whacked from I can't sleep. Anyway, that was my issues this evening. Talon and Dean, what's the follower count of the cat account? Now, Dan, got any idea? Are you ahead of him yet?
I've had about 3 more followers since the start of the year.
Mate, you just got to
keep upsetting people.
You got for FPL in your bio.
I did get, well, I was going to start tweeting some FPL things, but when you ranked about 100,000, no one cares, do they? Do you know what I mean? But I was going to put like FPL, hashtag FPL and stuff and get a few more. I got about 6 more in 1 week, right? But they were just all them sex bots and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Do you ever get them follow you and stuff? And then they all went. So I was like, I lost 6 followers now because they all deleted them accounts.
I lost 6 sex bots. What an absolute nightmare.
You know when we get on the YouTube, we're like,
we do
like,
on the YouTube, yeah. It'll
on
say
the bottom, it's like, hey, hi, or something they write, don't you? Look, and it's like some woman with no clothes on there. It's like, then someone normally writes like, who do you think we should captain on Saturday too, or something? Always like that.
I'll like see how you know, it'll say you've got like 8 new comments. I'll think 8 new comments, fantastic. I'll go on and all 8 of them are some porn site kind of, you know, sharing their ways with us. And as you say, sometimes I pop on and just ask them, yeah, that's all well and good, but who would you captain on Sunday?
Next one will be Keenan Davis in his underwear.
I tell you what, Dan, if you want to get your follower list up, right, just throw out some random shit on an FPL podcast, and when it comes
me and Paul are coming on your pod, aren't we? Because we're beating you and Adam, aren't we? Combined scores.
I'm not. It was close, but I've had a couple of bad weeks. So
can't you? Who's good at the old graphics and that? We've got someone at the hub, aren't we? Good at graphics.
I think so.
Or so I'll just copy someone else's history on the FPL, pass it on mine. I'll come on your show because you get about, don't know, you get quite a few thousand watch that, don't you? So you bring me and Paul on, you're like, this is FPL expert Dan Cox, and you can then say he's finished in the top 1% of, you know, make all this stuff up. And I'll get about another 10,000 followers. Be great.
We'll talk about Keenan Davis's passing potential.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shots on target bonus.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we're done for this evening. Thank you so much, as usual, everyone, for supporting and interacting with us on this stream. One favour, could everyone please retweet the podcast when we tweet it out later or tomorrow morning? It's probably worth saying now while everyone's still on the stream. So obviously, you know, we've learned this weekend that there's going to be a social media blackout next weekend, and so we will also be supporting the social media blackout, protesting the ongoing and sustained discriminatory abuse towards players and many others connected to football. So with this in mind, we won't be online next week because we're going to try and do our part towards that as well. So with this in mind, we will be back on the following Sunday, which will be the 9th. So, you know, we will tweet some stuff out kind of either side of it, you know, and answer questions and whatever else, but we won't be online next Sunday, so just so everyone is aware of that now. Okay, so Dan, where can people find you?
Yeah, Twitter, Dan Cox 82. I'll put out all the captaincy polls on Friday morning for the 4 days or whatever, so there'll be some sort of guide there, even though we won't be tweeting. And yeah, article on the hub each week. I think that's a good read. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know what I mean? I've written like 200 posts there. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you only get one read every week, Dan. I think that's you reading it back, isn't it?
I think that's a good read. So, do you know what I mean? It's not too late. Like, if you're not a member of the hub, you know, it's not a lot of money. Do you know what I mean? Sign up. Do you know what I mean? You're definitely a lot of the guys. You know, they say that helps them all the transfer fixture tickers and Ian's thing on there and everything like that. Like, it's well worth. I think it's well worth doing. It's only a couple of quid a month. Do you know what I mean? So if you've got a bit of cash laying about, I would personally put in. It is a great site. There's so much stuff on there. There's all your FPL stuff as well for people that way inclined. And
Keenan Davis.
Fan team. I want to get into fan team. I think I'm going to give that a go with our Euro game. That looks good. So I'm going to read that Chris Tan's guides. And yeah, just love the hub, mate. What I was going to say, Dream Team. I meant to say actually Dream Team. I did have a little bit of news about Dream Team. They're doing a Euro comp.
Yeah, are they? Fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know the prize money, but it's going to be the same format as before. So 20 transfers throughout.
Right. Superb.
Can you remember that from the last one, the World Cup?
Yeah.
So it's going to be the same format, 20 transfers throughout. I haven't heard anything about prize money. Hoping it's not gone down or not gone down too much. But yeah, that's it.
He's working for his commission tonight, eh?
Right. He just for all those things. Good stuff.
And give me a follow.
Got endorsements in the back. He's going to have Dream Team logos and stuff on the back as well.
Brilliant. Paul, where can we find you?
Twitter at Paul McAnulty once, MCANULTY.
And Ian, thank you so much for coming on. Absolutely brilliant masterclass again in fixture predictions. Where can people find you?
You find me on Twitter at PlanItSky, and also on the Herb I've got the Sky Planner, we've got the Telegraph Planner, we've got the calendar for the Sun Dream Team, and I'm very much expecting, if the Fan Team Euros goes ahead, I'll be doing one for that as well.
Absolutely magic stuff. As usual, everything is absolutely covered on Fantasy Football Hub. If you don't have Fantasy Football Hub membership, you really want to think about it, because we all use it for absolutely everything. Glenn asks, is Will paying Dan promotion bonus? Yeah, that was good there, Dan. I'll clip it out and send that to Will. He'd be very, very pleased with you there.
Yeah, write down what minute it was. I normally send it myself, to be honest.
I sent it myself. Just to say, in terms of Euro content from the Hub, we will have it all covered for every single game. Don't worry about that. So if anyone's playing any Euro stuff, we will have it all covered on Fantasy Football Hub. And just to say, actually, even though we won't be here next week, for the week after, one Line of Duty will have finished. So we'll get our big audience back live. And secondly, it's our 50th episode as well. So we need to plan something special for when we're back. That on May the 9th.
Some memorabilia giveaway. Yeah.
Oh, I like that. We will do. That's what we'll do. We will give away some of our merch on that night, and we'll have to think about.
I've got a World Cup 2010 guidebook here I could give away.
Wow,
nobody wants your Viz manuals and all
Dan's
the guff.
Trying to give away all the
guff that people won't pick up on Gumtree for nothing.
You know what it is. I don't want to fill the bins up. I had about 5 people ask for that Viz book. I'll have you know.
You can't fill the bins up because it spills out on the neighbour's drive.
I fill the neighbour's bins up. I'm one of them guys. I go out on the late nights before the bins come the next morning and fill everyone else's bin up.
Brilliant.
One of them.
Okay, so my handle is at FFH_Fergie. So this podcast and video will be on the Fantasy Football Hub, Sky and TFF YouTube channel, also available on all major podcast platforms. If you liked what you watched, if anyone's left live now, please click the like button. And if you are watching it back on Monday or Tuesday, please click the like button. It really, really does help us. And remember to subscribe in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. If you enjoyed your listen on the podcast, please rate the podcast. Give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and leave a comment. It really, really does help. As I say, we don't just say it every week as part of the thing. It really, really does help us and our reach. Our handles
Even if you don't like it, just give it a like.
Exactly. Our handles on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok are at FFH_HQ, and our podcast Twitter handle is at FFH_Sky. So please follow and feel free to ask any questions at any time. Our website is fantasyfootballhub.co.uk, where you'll find everything you need for fantasy football, all under one roof, including player comparison tools, the fixture ticker, Opta stats, top player team reveals, Ian's fantastic planners, some of which he has demoed this evening, and much, much more. The Hub is the place to be for anything fantasy football. Good luck to all our watchers and listeners for tomorrow night, next weekend. And just a reminder that next week we will be supporting the social media blackout, protesting the ongoing and sustained discriminatory abuse, online abuse towards players and many others connected to football. It is absolutely unacceptable and must stop now. With this in mind, we'll be back the following Sunday, the 9th of May at 9 p.m. for our 50th episode. Look ahead to Sky Game Week 36. Stay safe and good night all.